And we are back. You are chatting with John P. Today we are going to be talking about a very, very special Panerai model, the Panerai Radiomir PAM 330 in gold, which I know I just made a video about Panerai and definitely included some comments about how they don't do anything original in terms of the design, but I'll tell you, this watch, which retailed for over $120,000, is incredibly special. Tourbillon, GMT, and a lot of interesting things we're going to talk about. We just picked this up. It's going to be live at delraywatch.com. We were at this watch show that was here in Miami, Federico and myself here at Delray Watch, and we go to these watch shows where dealers trade watches. This is one of the things we picked up. It's so special. As you know, Federico loves Panerai, and I couldn't stop him from adding it to the store, so we did pick this up, and now I have to talk about it, even though he's the Panerai guy, but I think it's only fitting considering the last video I made. And actually, on my wrist today, I have a ceramic non-wave dial Seamaster, the last generation before the new wave dial. And if you saw my video about Seamasters, you know that surprisingly, I do like them a lot. I usually wear my Rolex 16550 for these shows, but I added this blue dial to my personal collection, and I've been wearing it for a couple days now since the show, 2 days now. And I love it. I love the ceramic. I think the case construction is on point, and it's a great summer watch. And I don't know if we still have them in stock because they go quickly, but we may also have a few of these. This one's not for sale because it's only for me. If you're new to the channel, we talk about watches anywhere from $120,000 down to $2,000. And we talk about things related to watches, watch dealer type stuff. So if you do enjoy it, please thumbs up, like, and subscribe, all that stuff. And you can find me on Instagram, The Real John P. So I'm going to take this watch under the gun, under the camera, get down and dirty with it, and show you what it's all about and why I think this is an exception to the video I made before. Let's do this. Here we have the Panerai PAM 330 Radiomir Tourbillon GMT. Produced in 2009 in only 50 pieces. Most of them have seemed to vanish from the market. This is one of the rarest Panerai ever produced. The watch is 48mm pink gold and looks a lot like any other Panerai you might see on the market today, though it is not. So this is a bit of a rebuttal to the other video that I did saying that most Panerais look the same, and this does look the same from the front, though there's some subtleties which we'll talk about. So while you can typically hunt around and find this watch, there's very little information circling around about it. Panerai's known for their mid-tier sports watches. You know, their rugged designs that look a lot like this, though usually in stainless steel. But this 330 was just out of their wheelhouse for the time in 2009. It really marked a time where Panerai said, hey, we're going to make ultra high-end complicated watches. You know, with a retail of over 120,000, I think this probably qualifies. So let's flip over to the movement now. You know, while it can be seen in this piece, you know, you have a movement that looks very Panerai. There's more to it that really shows that Panerai was making a play to jump into that higher stratosphere of watchmaking. This watch unveiled what Panerai called the P2005, which is their first in-house tourbillon movement. And we'll zoom in so you watch geeks can take a look at that beauty. So this particular movement, the P2005, and the integration of the movement into this watch, I think is something quite special. It features 3 barrels, a tourbillon, a second time zone, as well as an additional 24-hour indicator. We'll flip it over just so you can see, you know, the 24-hour, the AM, PM, you know, the running seconds, the GMT hand, as well as a tourbillon indicator, which we'll talk about. On the underside, the movement features a power reserve indicator as well in terms of days, so you know how much juice that you have left when you're sporting this 6-figure watch. It's nice to put it there. You know, a lot of times power reserve indicators are on the front, but otherwise it would make this Panerai a little bit too busy, which Panerai is not known for on their dials. So while there are many brands that have debuted tourbillons in modern watchmaking, Panerai adds quite a unique twist in this iteration here with the P2005 movement. The tourbillon cage on this movement rotates perpendicular to the balance wheel, whereas typically they rotate parallel to it. Panerai claims this design allows the movement to compensate better for any variance due to the wearer's arm motions. So as you wear it, they want to make sure that they did something a little bit extra, or at least they claim to allow for any kind of shock that your arm might have, or the different positions that you wear it. Timekeeping keeps a little bit different, so they put that little extra design quirk in there, if you will, to allow them to compensate for that type of thing. Overall, the movement is sufficiently decorated, I will say. It's very Panerai in the spirit. There's some brushing underneath in the movement, and you can see that there is some perlage as well. The top's very brushed and the bottom is perlaged, which is nice. It's nice, though I will say, the decoration is very minimalist, which is kind of the spirit of the brand Panerai. It's in line with the theme of Panerai. It's rugged, it's sporty, and it just has a subtle ooze of sophistication that, you just need to have in a six-figure timepiece. So, now that we've seen, it's a gorgeous movement, even though it is lacking some more advanced decoration. We'll jump onto the front side, where the brand really declares itself, I will say. So jumping onto the front side, while of course the dial looks very average Panerai, there's one hidden gem that I would say is not your standard fare Panerai, and something you probably would not imagine in this particular piece. Let's get a better angle there. So there's one little gem there, and what you can see is that in the sub-seconds, so at the 9 o'clock there, you can see that dot. Now you can see that the dot, now it's under the hand right now, but the dot is actually moving synchronously with the tourbillon. Now that's a nice little indicator in my opinion, right? If you're going to spend $120,000 retail, much less, gray market, or from unauthorized Panerai dealers, it's a nice little touch that you can remind yourself of the tourbillon in the back, the sophistication, the extra complications, that special touch, the in-house Panerai 2005 movement. You can remind yourself with that moving dot just below the seconds hand that, hey, I have a special watch. That's often, the theme with Panerai is, when they include something special, from 2009 up until today, it's very subtle, right? They stick to their original design, which some could say is boring, or some could say is, traditional and nice, but they always find a little way, just a little subtle hint to let you know that it is something special, and hey, it is worth the $120,000 that you paid for it. So that little dot, in my opinion, is very cool. It reminds the wearer, probably a watch geek, that, once again, I have something special. Just catch a few more angles for you here, because I want to make sure to do this watch justice for you watch geeks out there, because hey, it's a tourbillon, we're playing with it. It's one of the perks that we have at delraywatch.com. Let's catch some more shots of the movement. It's a shame we got the plastic, but it is new. And it's not every day you get one of these through the door, guys. It's a rare Panerai, produced in 50 pieces, and I think probably a lot less made it on the market because there's a handful of them. They all have stock photos, which is usually an indicator that they don't actually have the watch. And we saw this at the watch show, and Federico said, hey, we have to get this because he's a Paneristi. And I'll admit, it's kind of growing on me when we're talking about Panerai like this. It's a gorgeous piece. Let's zoom out here just so you can catch the profile. Of course, it comes on one of their, Panerai croc straps, which is nice. We'll put it in contrast to my Seamaster. See, I actually do have the Seamaster, guys. It's not just for show, because we have one or two available. It's nice, right? It's got a lot of presence. I think this is a piece that you can put on a wrist of a guy that's looking to have a little pizzazz, have that extra complication because he's a watch geek, and still have a Panerai be under the radar, right? Like, if this didn't have that complication, the tourbillon or any of the other features, I think this would probably be $12,000 watch, like some of the comps out there for some of the other Panerai models. But, multiply that by 10, or by 4 or 5, pre-owned, and I think you got yourself a piece here. So, this has been the Panerai PAM 330. In my opinion, I think it is an incredibly interesting and very unique watch from a brand that, in my opinion, does not do a lot of things to change the style, especially with the dial configurations. I think a lot of Panerais look the same, and while this does look the same, for those of you that want something a little bit different and unique and extremely high-end, this is over $120,000 piece, this is a pretty good thing that you can get into. You know, if you want a bit of a stealth, sure, it's a gold piece, so it is a little bit flashy for a Panerai, but you're not going to see the tourbillon because it's on the back, so those out in public aren't going to see that complication if they know it anyways. But what I love about this piece is just the indicator on the front in the sub-seconds where you can just kind of glance down at it while you're sipping on a coffee or a latte or something and just say, yep, I have a Panerai tourbillon that's unique and incredibly special and honestly a pretty good deal for what it is. I think we're probably offering this somewhere. It's not live yet, and Federico handles the pricing, but I think somewhere around $60,000, maybe a little bit less, if I recall. So in that wide range, and considering it's half retail and tourbillon in a precious metal rarely go that low, Panerai brand, a unique watch, you'll never find these floating around. About 50 made. It's a good option for you. I know it's not for everyone, but there are guys out there that actually are into things like this. So hopefully you enjoyed a bit of a higher end piece, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this a watch you can see yourself saving up for, or maybe you're ready to pull the trigger now? I don't know. Leave in the comments below. Or do you agree with one of my previous Panerai videos and it's still a Panerai at the end of the day and you don't see, you know, the complications justifying the increased price? You'd rather just have, you know, one of the standard fare $3,500 Panerais and get your Panerai fix. Let me know in the comments below. I am dying to hear about it. Also, don't forget to check it out, DelRayWatch.com. If it's not live, it will be soon. And we have so many other great pieces that we picked up at the show. About 40 new watches will be going live on the site just from the last day or two. So there's so much awesome things for everyone, and by request, we really do put in a lot of work to try to get the things that you guys know and love and are eager and excited to add to your collection. So check it out, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, guys. You have been chatting with John P. Ciao.